Good morning and welcome to the Environment Protection Commission meeting for August 21st, 2025. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, gracious Heavenly Father, we come thanking you for another day. We thank you for the EPC board members. We thank you for staff as well. We thank you for all of the applicants who submitted information or an application or just information that they want us to know. We thank you and we give praises in your name that EPC has been allowed to accomplish so much under your name. These blessings I ask in your holy name. Amen. And before we get started into our meeting, I just want to recognize Commissioner Hagan is virtual. And I want to read a couple of, from two other commissioners for the record. Commissioner Donna Cameron Cepeda will be absent from the Thursday, August 21st, 2025 EPC board meeting due to another appointment. And please be advised that due to the previous scheduled commitment, I will not be able to attend the August 21st, 2025 Hillsborough County EPC meeting this morning. And this is from Commissioner Christine Miller. Okay. Do we still need to do a roll call? Clerk's office.
Bowles.
Present.
Miller. Cameron Cepeda. Cohen.
Here.
Hagan.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Wolstel.
Here.
Thank you. Do you have a quorum?
Okay, thank you. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Janet?
No, Commissioner.
Okay. Removal in the consent items? Any removal?
No.
Okay. At this time, we'll do the recognition and proclamation. EPE staff.
Thank you, Commissioner. The first item we have is the EPC Clean Air Fair participant recognition, and I'm bringing up Michelle from staff to Michelle Jenkins to give you a little preview and introduce and recognize the individuals that are here.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Jenkins, EPC staff. It is my honor to be here this morning to share with you some information and highlight a special engagement event that we host annually, our EPC Clean Air Fair, and to recognize some of our valued community partners that have helped make the event a success over the years. For 24 years now, the EPC has hosted the Clean Air Fair, held annually in downtown Tampa to celebrate Clean Air Month. The lunchtime event was created to foster personal engagement and raise awareness about the importance of clean air and a healthy environment. The first Clean Air Fair was held just across the street here at Joe Chalura Park in 2001 and included exhibits by select county departments and EPC. In an effort to increase our public exposure, the fair was relocated just a few short blocks away to the prominent Poe Plaza and now welcomes over 70 community exhibitors and over 1,000 guests annually. Around the same time, we decided to introduce a youth engagement component by establishing the Clean Air Month Environmental Photography Contest. This contest is open to local, middle, and high school students and is centered around the Clean Air Fair theme to guide their inspiration and foster their creative voice. Their artwork is always inspiring and provides a glimpse into the unique perception on environmental and community stewardship. Since its inception, over 1,000 students have participated, and in the past many years, we've been very fortunate to have the winning students attend the fair to view their artwork proudly displayed for the public to enjoy. A fun and engaging experience is what we strive to offer our guests. Visitors of all ages are invited to interact with a variety of exhibitors and be captivated by their storytelling and the charismatic animal ambassadors they may bring to the fair. Thanks to the generous partner donations, the fair provides complimentary refreshments. Ice cream is always a favorite, exhibitor giveaways, and promotional items, all while educating our guests about the good work being done by Hillsborough County and our community partners. And the festivities don't stop there, though. The fair also includes live music featuring time donated by an EPC alumnus and his accompanying band. And for those who wish to have a little extra fun, we encourage them to strike a pose in our photo booth, which includes event-themed props and backdrops. Who doesn't love being a superhero after all? And if that wasn't enough, one of the most highly anticipated features of the fair is our Arbor Day tree and plant giveaway, made possible through the generous grant provided by the Florida Department of Forestry. There's nothing more rewarding than seeing our enthusiastic guests strolling through the fair, buzzing about the new additions to their patio and backyard landscaping. Of course, none of this would be possible without your support, commissioners, and that of our community leaders. Our success is a direct reflection of your leadership and your dedication to the community, the environment, and our quality of life. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for all that you do. In addition, we are grateful to HTV for their long-standing support in producing and publishing our annual Clean Air Fair videos. And now we are excited to share this year's video with you. Could you play the video?
What a beautiful day to have our annual premiere event, which is our Clean Air Fair here at Poe Plaza in downtown Tampa. This is our 24th year, and we're so happy to host environmental and community exhibitors that are here to share all they do for the community. Our theme this year is Planted Earth, rooting for clean air. And with that, we want to highlight the importance and the benefits of having a healthy, green natural resources.
Hillsborough County has 14 air monitoring stations, and we just met air quality in the year 2020. Most people know about water quality, but they don't know about air quality. And it's very important because of the air we breathe. We have high ozone days, and we have 7 constituents that can cause air pollution. We have 60 vendors, but we have a lot of scientists here, scientists that know about water quality and air quality, and so people can ask questions. We have people from the Florida Aquarium and Wildlife, but when they come here, they get to do it in a fun, festive area outside, and they get to listen to music, and they get to play some games, get free food, get trees clean the air, they can get an oil bottle from Hillsborough County. So they learn about recycling, sustainability, and a lot of great environmental programs.
It's very important to make sure that people know that they can individually make a difference. You know, one of the most important things we're emphasizing this year is maintaining your car, because having a well-maintained car actually contributes to a healthy environment. It reduces the amount of substances that are leaking out, getting into the groundwater supply, helps keep our air clean, and of course, that's what we're focused on today. We are very fortunate in Hillsborough County that we have an Environmental Protection Commission, and it really allows us to draw attention and highlight environmental concerns, our environmental lands acquisition program, and a lot of the other major initiatives that we have going on.
If you missed this year's event, there's always next year. It's going to be our 25th annual anniversary event, so we hope to see you next year.
As you can see, it's all about building community relationships and providing an engaging experience for the public to enjoy. And all of that is to the credit of our incredible community partners like those you see listed on the slide. We look forward to everyone joining us next year for our 25th celebration. Today, we are sharing a little sneak peek of our theme for next year, which will unite with the other great celebration, our 250th anniversary of our nation. Our silver anniversary will focus on connecting the love of our environment with the love of our country. And finally, we would like to acknowledge our valued partners and invite our special guests to come forward to be recognized for their contributions for being the cornerstone of the Clean Air Fair's success. Tampa City Center, they graciously allow us to host the event in the wonderful Poe Plaza every year. Tampa Downtown Hilton. They generously provide tables, chairs, and cheerful assistance to help us with setup and breakdown. In addition, they offer our guests a delightful display of food and refreshments from the hotel and restaurant every year. And last but certainly not least, Publix. We have Brian West with us here today. Publix has been a valued anchor at the event every year for their continued Clean Air Fair sponsorship, donations of food and refreshments, including some of that very sought-after ice cream. Brian, would you like to come up and say?
Good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody today?
Wonderful.
It is a blessing to get to work with literally the best company in the world every day. Not only do we have great associates, we've got the world's best customers. We are very much about giving back to the communities that we serve, and the environment is one of those. Just a few short years ago, we began a register campaign at our stores across all 8 states, now 1,413 stores, that allow our associates and customers to make donations at the register that we then contribute 100% of that funding to organizations here in the Southeast where our footprint is. This year, we gave considerable donations to the National Park Foundation, the Arbor Day Foundation, and Force Blue. And then on top of that, each spring, we hold what we call a Public Serves Week, where our associates get into the communities that we serve and volunteer in some way to give back. And typically, that involves tree planting, cleanups in parks, waterways, those types of things. So just want you to know that you've got a great business here that's trying to support the community. So thank you very much for recognizing us, and we appreciate you.
Hi, sir. Can you please repeat your name for the record?
Brian West.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Brian, we have a little gift for you in Clean Air fashion. We have a plant for you to take back to your office and a dedication on the front so that we hope that you know how important and what an impact that you made as a partner with us. And that concludes the presentation, Commissioners.
I'll stay right there, Brian, for a second.
We'd like to take a picture
Yes.
at the very end.
I just want to make a few comments. I don't see any other board members in the queue. But the Clean Air Fair for 24 years, and since I've been a commissioner, and some of us, what a wonderful experience. And each year, the attendees is grow larger and larger and larger. And I just want to thank staff for a tremendous job that you are doing to invite the public to come, as well as county employees, everyone from downtown. Just take a moment to come through the Clean Air Fair. So thank you. And to Publix, you all always say it's my pleasure. And it's our pleasure to have you as one of our partners and all the other partners who participate in the Clean Air Fair each year, because it's your commitment, and that's how we build relationships with our partners, to be there and be supportive of what we're doing here in Hillsborough County. So thank you so much. Anyone else? I don't see anyone. Want to take a picture?
Right up here.
Oh, where's your flower? Where's your plant? Yeah, call everyone up, Janet.
Commissioner wants everyone to come up. Come on, gang. Gonna make this a nice area. Keep coming. Okay, you're too tall. Come on. Here's the one, Lauren. Very good. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for participating. All the way from Polk County.
Imperial Polk County.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Just real quickly to HTV, am I working this, or are you guys going to show that? Okay, perfect. That's great. Commissioners, thank you so much for recognizing Publix, Hilton, and City Center for supporting us at the Hyatt. And the next airfare, just for the public, is May 7th, correct? Yes. And it happens at lunch hour. So you just take your lunch there and visit us for an hour or so and learn a lot of stuff for the public. With that, we're going to move on to our next recognition. We do this annually, and I'm always so impressed by these young STEM and scientists that come and are our award winners. This year, Commissioners, we are pleased to present the EPC Scholastic Environmental Merit Award, which is given annually to the Hillsborough County Regional STEM project that best exemplifies sound science and environmental stewardship principles. The 2025 recipient is Tunishka Uglave, and she is joined by her father, Balaji Uglave. Tunishka has conducted extensive research in plant disease management, and she has earned several awards and recognitions for her work. Today, Tunishka receives a well-earned EPC Environmental Merit Certificate and a Family of 4 membership to the Florida Aquarium. We thank the aquarium for its annual support and generous donation of this gift for her membership, of their membership to Tunishka and her family. Before I bring them up to give them the award and present them, you have in the agenda what she worked on was citrus greening. And I'm sure everybody knows that's just been very devastating. And there's a lot of chemical companies out there, but what she did was basically a sustainable way she'll explain that to you, to deal with the Asian psyllid with steam. And I think, I'm not quite sure what this scientific term means, but I think it will be a beneficial bacteria or a fungi to help combat citrus greening. And once you guys want to come on up, Tunishka? And come on, Dad. Come up too. This is your certificate that we're going to present to you in your Florida Aquarium. Tunishka, where do you go to school?
Strawberry Crest.
Strawberry Crest, Plant City. Woohoo! I think we get a winner there very frequently. And then I'm going to give you The Giving Tree. You're working on trees. This is one of my favorite books. And I'm also going to give you this, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. This book is kind of like The Giving Tree. It's all about giving, love, kindness, and acceptance. This is like one of my favorite books, too. So we want you to talk scientifically a little bit or talk about your project, hopefully in some user-friendly terms. The floor is yours.
Good morning.
Hello, my name is Tunishka Uglave. I'm a current junior at Strawberry Crest High School, and over the past few years, I've conducted multiple years of research on sustainable ways to manage plant diseases. And specifically, last year, I worked on the citrus greening disease, which, as you must know, is the most pressing threat to Florida oranges and orange production. So in my project, I developed a sustainable and eco-friendly strategy to manage this disease using a plant extract from a plant known as the curry leaf tree. Essentially, this disease is kind of essentially this plant is kind of resistant to this disease, and it's been known that somehow this plant's extract can potentially be used against this disease, and that's basically what I did and what my project was about. And also, I developed a novel way to administer this treatment that I developed for this disease through a process known as trunk injection. My research has received numerous accolades, including first place at the International Science and Engineering Fair. I was awarded by a Nobel Prize winner through the same fair. I've been recognized by the EPA recently by the President's Youth Award, and also I've been recognized by numerous other organizations as well, including the Henry Ford Invention Convention U.S. Nationals. And so I'm really passionate about this issue, and I was really happy to share this with you. Thank you so much, EPC.
We want to thank you because, young lady, you're going somewhere. You're already doing research in the 11th grade, and your talent, I'm just looking at all the buttons you have on your jacket. That tells me you're very involved in the community, that you're very involved in your school and what you're doing, and we commend you and congratulate you for this honor here in Hillsborough County. Commissioner Coyne.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's so interesting. I want to ask you a question. I had an orange tree in my yard for many years, and it died as a result of the citrus greening. And when I inquired about getting another tree, I was discouraged. And so I want to just ask you, like, is there still an orange crop in Florida? And I mean, are oranges going to come back? Or have we lost the fight with this?
I feel that there still are some oranges that are alive and they are healthy, but again, they have the risk of being infected by this disease. And once they are infected, there is great risk of harm to that tree and more trees as well. However, I still feel that there is hope with this disease fight, right? Because right now, there are multiple organizations, University of Florida, USDA, they all have a strong team that is working on this. And right now, we're coming up with multiple other, treatments that could work. And that's specifically what my research was about, on a sustainable treatment for this disease using biological plant extracts. And because of my research, I'm actually working with the USDA and Cornell University to combat this and also conduct field trials in the growers' farms, where this is performing excellent in the growers' field. So that could
Well, that's great.
help.
Sounds like you're on it then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So come on back, Janet.
We're gonna
take
grab a quick picture. I was just curious, do you work with the University of Florida and IFAS? Because Commissioner Woostel mentioned that, and we have an Ag Economic Development Committee that the county is very supportive of, and it's within the county. I'd love to get you in front of all those different farmers and scientists, but especially get you down to the center, which where is it, Commissioner? Off 672 or 674?
672 in South County.
South County. I think you would meet a bunch of scientists very much like yourself that are trying to fix greening and some other things, nematode invasion in the strawberry fields and stuff like that. But before we take a picture, I just want to say you are super impressive. And when I look out around the world, I have such hope when I meet young people like this. So keep up the good work. Come on, Dad. Oh, let's get a... What is that, Laura? Yeah. Okay, Commissioner.
Okay, going into our public comment now. We will be holding a rule adoption public hearing regarding revision to the wetland basics of review later in the meeting. We request that you reserve your rulemaking comments on those matters until the public hearing is held. All other persons can present public comments on other topics now, and you will be given 3 minutes. So we have one speaker virtual. Staff? Yes. Stephen? Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Hi, good morning, y'all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak directly with y'all today. I was lucky to notice that this meeting was taking place this morning, and I was even more lucky to be available at this time of day on a Thursday morning. Most of your constituents, unfortunately, are not as lucky as I am to be able to voice their concerns, but here I am. I was surprised to learn that the EPC only meets 4 times a year unless a special session is held, considering the current state of environmentalism in Florida. In our beautiful state, our state and federal government have really shown a disregard for the maintenance and upkeep of our natural landscape. Our State Fish and Wildlife Commission is entirely ran by former developers. Every day, it seems like more and more tracts of scrub, mangroves, longleaf pines, palmettos have been torn down to make way for townhomes and strip malls for transplants from New York and New Jersey. Nowhere has this been more true than in Hillsborough County. I urge y'all to take a drive down County Line Road, 305, Racetrack, Gun Highway. It doesn't look anything like you remember, I promise. All this unsustainable and sprawling development has destroyed more and more of our irreplaceable green space and taken away some habitat from some of our most vulnerable species. Gopher tortoises are being buried alive under bulldozers. It honestly breaks my heart as a native Campanian. For that reason, I'd like to urge the commission today on 3 things. One, I would ask y'all to consider amending Rule 14 of the Rules of Order to meet on a more regular basis. I feel semi-monthly or monthly feels appropriate given the current situation of environmentalism here. 2, I would ask to expand our county-owned conserved lands. I'd like to see the county take steps to acquire and protect more lands. It is an actively depleting resource, and every acre matters. Lastly, I would ask y'all to please take steps to stop this destruction of wild Florida at the source. I would love to see y'all enact a moratorium on all new developments on wild land, similar to what has been done in the city of Edgewater and the city of Deltona elsewhere in the state. I would also urge the commission to amend our county zoning regulations to make it much more difficult to develop on previously undeveloped lands and to rather incentivize the redevelopment of properties which have already been built upon. We have plenty of places that we can rebuild in Hillsborough County. We don't need to tear down any more of our natural landscape. I hope the commission takes these suggestions into consideration and takes action, as I know I'm not the only member of our community who feels this way. You can stop them from destroying our home. That is everything I have, but thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you. Staff, do we have anyone else on online virtual? Al? Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll move right into the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Coyne. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, then we'll move right into agenda item number 8 for the public hearing. At this time, we will open the public hearing to consider amendments to Chapter 3 of the Basic of Review. Mr. Murata, would you please explain the process in our public notice?
Thank you, Commissioner Myers. Yes. Pursuant to Section 5 of the EPC Act, when a commission holds a public hearing to adopt or amend a rule, it has to be noticed in a newspaper of general circulation, which we have done. Actually, we noticed it in 2 newspapers 10 days prior to the meeting. And the format is that our wetland staff, Ms. Lindsay Brock, will give a presentation regarding the amendment of the rule that we're proposing. Then you can receive public comment and then have commissioner discussion and a vote. So at this time, unless you have any other preference on the order, Ms. Brock will be available to present. She's a senior environmental manager in our wetlands division.
Okay. Good morning.
First, I just want to thank you for your time this morning. Lindsay Brock, EPC staff. Just going to move this up a little bit. I'm here today to present the proposed rule revisions to Chapter 3 of the Basis of Review for Wetland Impact and Mitigation Permit Applications. Senate Bill 492, the Mitigation Banking Bill, was signed into law by Governor DeSantis on June 26, 2025, and became effective on July 1st, 2025. The law revises Section 373.4136, Parent 6, Florida statutes as it relates to mitigation banking. The purpose of Senate Bill 492 is to address a shortage of available mitigation bank credits within various drainage basins throughout the state. The law improves the availability of credits by offering more flexibility in how mitigation bank credits can be used to offset wetland impacts. I just briefly explained the state law that became effective on July 1st, 2025. As a reminder, Chapter 3 contains the criteria for wetland impact and mitigation permit applications issued by the EPC. As shown in the underlying language, the EPC is just adopting the state law for mitigation purposes. If the applicant has met the state law for mitigation, the cumulative impact criteria under the basis of review is also met. So staff recommendation is to adopt the proposed rule amendments to Chapter 3 of the basis of review that are included in the agenda. Again, I want to thank you for your time this morning. If there are any questions, I'm more than happy to address them at this time.
Thank you. Has anyone from the public signed up to comment on the proposed rules revision?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Then if there are no public comments, then we'll entertain discussion from the board. Commissioner Wallstone.
Thank you. I've been a very pro-property rights commissioner, but when this mitigation bank comes up, it's very confusing to me because we don't have really any left in Hillsborough that I know of, do we?
Commissioner, there are a few banks here, but there's different types of credits, and so currently there are no what we call forested credits within our basin, and our basin is a little bit larger than the Hillsborough. It's a bit larger than Hillsborough County. It encompasses some of the other surrounding counties, but there's a mitigation bank called Bullfrog Creek that is getting ready to come online and be able to release credits. But no, we are strained for different types of credits within our basin. So if people wanted to mitigate using credits instead of on-site mitigation, many of them would seek to go outside the basin.
I only ask because, hear me out, I'm not a geologist, but we live downriver from everything in Hillsborough County. Are they allowed to mitigate upriver?
Commissioner, wherever the banks are located, there's a multiplier. So going outside of basin, they have to do more mitigation depending on the multiplier. But according to the Senate bill, the reason that they are allowed to do this is because I think people have been constrained, and I think that's why they legislated this. Unfortunately, is that the best environmental solution to go outside of basin? I would say no. Wading birds go 25 miles to shore to forage to then take back to their young. They're not going to go to Pensacola, Florida to forage up there. I think one of the things that people are looking at, which is something that it takes a long time to permit these things. It takes decades typically, and then to release them. I think one of the things is what we are looking at, or the state could be looking at, is private-public partnerships. We have a lot of ELAP land, and there's a way I think that we could create mitigation banks within our jurisdiction. And the county owns a bunch of land, or Tampa Bay Water owns a bunch of land. There's a lot of opportunities. Brooker Creek, I just watched a presentation yesterday at the Tampa Bay Association of Environmental Professionals from the president of the Mitigation Association, and he owns a portion of the Bullfrog Creek. In Brooker Creek, they took a golf course that has 2 watersheds on each side, and they are creating a mitigation bank off a golf course. And I know in this county, we have several golf courses that have looked for development: Apollo Beach, Pebble Creek, Walden Lake. So there are opportunities, but it takes willing partners and investment.
Well, it sounds like we should make it more of a priority then, so that we don't continue to mitigate outside of basically our bowl that we live at the bottom of. And we've also been circumvented from basically controlling growth by the state. So I don't know, it seems like an issue that we might want to find a mechanism to improve here in Hillsborough. But I'll move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Worcester, second by Commissioner Cohen. Seeing no one else in the queue, please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, then we move right into the regular agenda.
Thank you, Commissioners. And again, I just on that last item, I would like to say, that would be music to my ears. And if there's anything I can do or the agency could do to help, create solutions or bring entities together to create mitigation within this basin, we stand ready to do so. Okay. With that, we're going to move to 9A. So everybody's been hearing this little buzzing. It's our ozone machine, and it has to run for a period of time to show you exactly how it works. So it's over here in the corner. Afterwards, we can turn it off. It's not your microphones that you're hearing. But with that, I'm going to bring up Jason Waters to give this quick presentation on ozone. We get a lot of commissioner inquiries on ozone, and we also get a lot of citizen inquiries on ozone, and we have typical incidences around April and May. So,
Good morning.
Jason?
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jason Waters, EPC staff. I work in the Air Division, and I'm going to talk to you about ozone in Hillsborough County specifically today. Ozone's a, oxygen compound of 3 ozone atoms, and it's both natural and man-made. We all hear about the stratospheric ozone. We heard about that for years. There's a hole in the ozone layer, and the ultraviolet rays are coming through, and that's what protects us. Well, everybody says, well, that's the good ozone. But ozone down here where we walk around and breathe, we call it the bad ozone because it is a component from smog, from nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds, and it causes health effects. It comes from high temperature, low humidity, traffic, industrial impacts, mainly man-made at ground level. We regulate it because it does cause, asthma or coughing, scratchy throat, and it can cause damage to the lungs. It also impairs the environment. Plants aren't able to grow as well or be as resistant to disease. So we don't do this alone. The US EPA set National Ambient Air Quality Standards. We call them the NAAQS. So when you hear somebody say NAAQS, that sounds weird. We've got all these acronyms. And there's a primary and secondary standard. Primary is for human health, and secondary is for the environment. For ozone, that standard is the same. It's 0.070 parts per million. And EPA does review those standards from time to time, and they made the standard tougher or numerically lower. So you might see a slide that says we lowered the standard. That doesn't mean it made it easier. It was made tougher over the years, multiple times. And we work in partner with FDEP to run the monitoring network here in Hillsborough County for EPA. As you see, we have 4 stations here in Hillsborough County. There are about 56 ozone stations in the state of Florida. We have 4 in our county. No other county has more than 4. There's only a couple others, Broward maybe, and maybe Pinellas or Duval. And it's typically an ozone monitor. This is just the monitor itself. There's some other calibration equipment, everything that's housed inside this trailer, and we have to go out periodically. It has to be kept in a conditioned environment to make sure it operates properly. It is somewhat noisy. It's got a pump in it to be able to do that extraction. It's sampling the room air right now. We use 2 different brands. I'm going to walk around real quick. So on that front panel display, it says 2.8 parts per billion or 0.028 parts per million, well below the standard. And that's expected. We're inside a room. We're inside a controlled environment. It's cool in here. So one of these ozone monitors will take that, a data logger will retrieve that data, sends it back via cellular modem to our central server, and we're able to show data in near real time. There we go. What is ozone season? Well, a lot of states, because it's, they have more temperature, they have seasons. Their ozone season is March to November. However, Florida, we're the sunshine state. Sunny year-round. Ozone occurs all the way year-round here in Florida. And you can see that's our value of 70 is the standard. You can see there's a few days here or there we go over. And this next slide represents that. So based on the current standard, you can see there's that word. It says it was lowered twice from 80 to 75 to 70, meaning made tougher. It's been made tougher twice since the year 2000. And despite that, based on the current standard, despite the growth we just talked about, we would have exceeded 40-something days in the year 2000. And today it's a handful a year. And those are a few days a year are allowed as an exceptional event. We do forecast ozone. You look over on the right, that's our 4 monitors, those 4 different colors. And you can see midnight is right there, how overnight, this is in April, this is one of the worst months for us. And I picked this particular day because we went over this day for a few hours at 3 of our sites, but we didn't actually exceed this day because it's based on an 8-hour average. It's a little bit longer term health effect. And we take into consideration humidity, temperature, the time of day. As you can see, as the day builds, the sunlight's out and the pollution builds, it kind of cooks up. And it usually peaks around 3, 4, 5 o'clock. And this AirNow website is where you can go to find the data. And here's AirNow. This, I guess I put this together on July the 9th, but it's not ozone that's the primary pollutant. This also reports other ones. Our data was 36. Anything 100 or below is considered in compliance with the National Ambient Air Quality Standards. This converts those standards to a grade of 100 that most people are used to. And so we're 36 this day. And ozone was not the concern that day. It was 84 degrees as well. And down at the bottom right, data courtesy of Hillsborough County, Tampa. That's us, EPC. So here's how we notify citizens of high ozone days. That air quality index, or AQI, has levels, and you can see them down in the bottom right. And orange is unhealthy for sensitive groups. And that's where we start considering issuing a precautionary statement if it's going to be elevated, but we don't think it's going to go over, but for a long period of time. Or we issue an advisory if we think we're going to go over, to make sure citizens know that they should, stay indoors and protect themselves. As you can see, we only have a few days each year that are unhealthy for sensitive groups, and most of our days are in the good range, and nearly all of them are under 100. And you see down in the purple and maroon down there, when people had wildfires up in the Northeast a few years ago, those were the numbers they were in. How do you protect yourself? Limit the time outdoors. Know what your AQI is. You're going to ask me how to do that. I'm going to show you in just a second. You can drive less, create less pollution, maintain your vehicle, and use environmentally safe products. You can go to our website. So you say, hey, yeah, I can use that AirNow. It's airnow.gov app, or web page, really. You can look at that anytime you want. But you can also, if you want to know about the alerts, this is our landing homepage. Just go to that red circle thing that says, I want to. Click receive alerts and emails. You put your email in there. I think you put your phone number in for a text as well. And it'll let you know when we issue an alert. With that, if anybody has any questions.
No, I don't see any questions, but we certainly thank you for your presentation.
Okay, well, we'll turn this noisy thing off.
Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think it was last year that Commissioner Woostel called, and I was at Lakeland and Assassin. And I thought I was seeing smog, and it was actually the wildfires that had created PM2. And these wildfires from Canada and way far off, you don't realize that they actually can get down here like Saharan dust. And PM2 is very bad for your lungs. Once it settles in there, it's not good. So, but we're going to keep monitoring the air and putting out these air quality alerts. And thank you so much, Jason. And with that, Commissioner, we'll move on to 9B. This is the yard trash processing legislation, House Bill 211, and Rick Marotti will be giving the presentation.
And if HTV could pull up the slides, appreciate that. Thank you again, Rick Marotti with the Legal Department. At our last meeting, we had brought some bills to you for your attention, and this is one of the ones we are tracking, House Bill 211. It's a farm preemption legislation. But before I get into the actual preemption, I want to get into a little background of our program, if we go to the next slide. So the EPC's had a regulatory program for yard trash waste, so mulch, compost, for decades. But in the late 90s, one of the South Tampa facilities that's no longer in existence had really bad fires, and it took a lot of resources from fire departments and other regulatory bodies to deal with it. And so the commission decided to make a stronger rule within the EPC to deal with these mulch facilities and yard trash facilities. If we could go to the next slide. So the rules were improved by the commission to deal with things like volume of storage. So you shouldn't have high, very large piles. You need lanes between so firefighting vehicles can get between the mulch. We created financial assurance mechanisms so if someone abandoned the property, there would still be resources to remove that yard trash and get it to a lower level so it wouldn't be a problem. And overall, the rules help reduce odor, dust, and illegal dumping. If we go to the next slide. The EPC has issued 14 permits, also known as director's authorizations, for these facilities. You'll notice 2 are in yellow in the northwest and southeast corners of the county. Those no longer are required to have a permit. I'll touch on that in a moment. The 3 with the green star are actually Hillsborough County run facilities, and then the rest are privately owned facilities. So you can see they're scattered all over the county to deal with all the yard trash that we have in our community. If we can go to the next slide. So the bill itself, House Bill 211, passed this session, became effective July 1st. And what does it do? It amends the Agricultural Lands and Practices Act. It defines that edible and non-edible plant products are farm products. So that, read that to mean compost, yard trash in general, mulch are farm products. And the collection, storage, processing, and handling of those products is now deemed a type of bona fide farming. So if a piece of property is doing those activities and they have green belted themselves, they've gone through the process of going to the property appraiser to become agricultural land, then they can benefit from this new legislation, and they would be preempted from local regulation of handling and processing of that mulch. Next slide, please. So the EPC has done outreach to let the 2 facilities that are green belted, the 2 I pointed out earlier on the slide, that they no longer need an EPC permit. They'll just be regulated by the state of Florida DEP oversight. And then the 12 other facilities, we've also begun to reach out to them to let them know about the legislation and that if they choose to go through the process of working with the property appraiser to become green belted, then they would then only have oversight from the DEP and not the EPC's more stringent process. So with that, commissioners, this is just a informational presentation, but we wanted to really highlight this because over the years, constituents have reached out to all your offices to let you know on occasion about odor and dust coming from these mulch piles, mainly odor and dust. And so when we get these complaints in the future, a lot of times through your offices, we'll have to make that determination. Is this a green belted property? Then we'll have a constituent reach out to the DEP, and we'll keep coordinating with the DEP. If it's not green belted, then we'll keep working with the constituents and the facilities. And that's it. There's no request for any action, just informational. And we have technical staff that know a lot more about waste handling than myself in the audience to help out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you. I have a constituent I've been trying to help in Odessa who's had a several-year challenge. They have a yard waste transfer facility where they are an agriculturally zoned property, but we have a special designator in our land development code that allows for landscaping and nursery on agricultural land. And one of those functions that he has is just a yard waste transfer facility. We're regulating him right now and requiring screening and buffering and a certain amount of setbacks. Is this going to say, hey, we can't do any of those things anymore?
If the property has gone through the process, or will go through the process of green belted.
He's already green belted.
So he's not just a zone, because it's not just zoning, you have to be green belted.
He's green belted.
Then yeah, that is my understanding. Now, if there is some exemption for zoning as opposed to environmental regulatory, have to look at that. There might be a slight distinction.
Okay.
But that's, if they have the green belting, that would be my understanding, that would be preempted from local regulation.
Maybe I'll just send Adam's helping me on it. Maybe I'll send you guys the case and you can look and say, does this new law apply?
Okay, is it one of the 14 facilities that was on the map?
No, I don't think so. It's
Okay.
like, it's basically on the Hillsborough Pasco County. It's way up there.
Okay, yeah, please give it to us. I'm not familiar with that, and then maybe it's resting in the Development Services group and not our group.
It is not the one we've dealt with over and over up there.
Correct. But we'll facilitate and help any way we can, Commissioner.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowles.
With this transfer of oversight to the DEP, would that, obviously you say it's less stringent to some degree than what we're doing. What is the recurring, what is the recurring, how often would the reviews go out there, or how often would they be taking a look to make sure that we don't have any bad actors?
Yeah, we go out quarterly to visit the facilities. The DEP goes out every 5 years, once every 5 years. So we require financial assurance if it has to be cleaned up. I'm not sure. Not sure they do that. They, as far as fire lanes, we have Ron Cope or Stephanie here that could deal with it, but their oversight is not as rigorous as ours over time.
So if we use something, let's just say like the fire lanes, because in my past life, I've actually been on some of these large fires in the Seffner area that taken 3-4 days and a significant amount of resources. Is that something that could maybe be placed into the zoning? Or we would have to change zoning on that for, if you're going to do this kind of property, that you'd have to have?
I think you'd have to get with the county attorney to see if that is something that there's not a law out there that would preempt that. I mean, these fires, the Tampa Bay Organics fire years ago burnt for a month and a half and displaced people. And you can't put them out with water. You have to dig them out. There was one that happened in Polk County years and years ago. It created, there were some fatalities and big car wrecks because the smoke just sat over I-4.
Right.
So, but we'd have to get with, and I'm happy to do that, to get with Adam and ask. But, and if you want more detail, we do have staff here.
If we'd have Ron address any of the fire plans that are in place, even if the EPC rule didn't apply, that'd be helpful.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ronald Cope, EPC staff. The DEP's requirements do include a fire lane. There in the state's regulation 62709, there's a 20-foot requirement for a perimeter fire access road around the facility. Also, the rule requires that no material be more than 50 feet away from access by firefighting equipment. So with those two things together, fire accessibility is a bit addressed. We are a little bit more conservative in the requirements that we place in the director's authorizations, in that we require internal 15-foot fire lanes, that kind of thing. Those will go away at these facilities that are preempted. But there are firefighting requirements, there are fire safety requirements in the state regulations nonetheless, just not as detailed as ours have been. Did that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. And I have one more question, just regarding, so if, not on fire though, but, so if you want to stay, you can. That's probably it. Yeah. On the, so food, meaning edible vegetables and plant material and non-edible plant. What if there's a mixture of protein or some type of other, how are we going to address that with, again, I'll just say that there's a possibility of a bad actor out there, but how will we address that? And, are we going to wait 5 years for sneaking carcasses to be mixed in, or eggs or something to that effect that could be?
Yeah, no, Commissioner, we actually have a case like that right now where the DEP and ourselves are both taking enforcement where they are bringing out protein and packaged materials and not vegetative waste, and we get phone calls. And so when someone calls us on a complaint, we're going to go out and investigate it. And if it's, and that is not considered yard waste, that is not considered compost. There's strict rules for that. So I think staff is actually meeting with DEP this afternoon on a case in Seffner just like that. But I can promise you if there's stuff going on like that and someone calls, because it will smell. I have to drive by that facility. It's been going on for several months, and everybody out in the Thonotosassa area complains because it smells. And you'll have vectors. I mean, you can't hide it because seagulls are going to come and, things like that, just like a landfill. So no matter what, if it's not us, we will make sure that we get DEP or the appropriate entity to regulate them.
So this will not prohibit the citizens or our ability to go out and investigate and enforce, any actions against the again, a bad actor.
Well, we're about pollution, but we're not, this is, what they're dealing with is not yard waste. It's not, so, and it is regulated by the FDP. Ron, you got anything to add to that?
No, I would just echo what Janet has said is, we will still respond to complaints.
Correct.
We will not necessarily have the authority to require an EPC permit for those facilities that meet a yard trash processing facility criteria, but if they're doing other stuff in addition to yard trash, then there's some level of authority we will retain. And again, we will coordinate, as we do with the department, to make sure that the appropriate permits are obtained and that all of those environmental controls are implemented.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you all. Okay, Janet?
Okay, Commissioner, we're just going to wrap up real quickly with the Executive Director report. Just one thing I just wanted to mention for the edification of the public and the commissioners who are watching. We do meet 6 times a year. The reality was we had a conflict in June this year with a calendar with the county. So we meet every other month, and just the county does have an ELAP program. They do protect property. I think they have, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys may know better, 66,000 acres in preservation, and they work very diligently not only to preserve that, but also to do conservation easements as well. So just wanted to put that into the record, and with that, if HTV could, there we go. All right, put all the slides. Next slide. Our water staff appreciated the opportunity to take Commissioner Miller and her aides, Cassandra Marion and Megan Moser, out for water sampling runs on April 21st. It was a great chance to showcase our monitoring efforts in the Bay. And again, Commissioners, it's always nice to go out when the weather's cooler, or in the spring or the fall, if any of you would like to go back out and do some water sampling on the Bay. Next slide. April 21st, EPC celebrated Arbor Day and with the students and faculty at Learning Gate Community Middle School in Lutz through a tree planting ceremony. And I just personally I love that school. Both my nephews go to that school. My nephew is right here next to Ms. DeLue. I would like to thank the Florida Forestry Service for awarding the grant that makes it possible every year to plant this tree. Next slide. Staff and I attended Commissioner Meyer's town hall meetings that were held in Tampa and Gibsonton in May and June, and they are so well attended, and the public is so engaged in asking questions and coming up to our tables. It's a great community outreach event. Next slide. Staff participated in several professional conferences and workshops, both as attendees and as presenters. EPC staff presented FDEP storage tank at the FDEP Storage Tank Conference and the Florida Association for Water Quality Control's annual conference. Next slide. Over the spring and summer, staff participated in several outreach events, including Learning Gate's annual EcoFest, EPC's Guided Wetlands Walk, and the annual Agritech Conference, which I help moderate every year. The Future Leaders in Planning Tour for high school students, and the Connect ED Science Fest for Hillsborough County science teachers. And I just want to thank all staff for reaching out. A lot of these events are in the evenings or on weekends, and they're just very dedicated. Next slide, please. This is something we talked about before, but just for the public again, May 7th will be our 25th annual Clean Air Fair. Come out to Poe Plaza around lunchtime. Get a tree, get some food, breathe some clean air, and listen to some music and learn about our environment. Next slide, please. On April 22nd, next slide, please. Maybe not. We'll keep moving. There we go. On April 22nd, EPC staff partnered with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for an Earth Day cleanup at Cockroach Bay, hosted by Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful. And through June and July, EPC's generous staff donated supplies supporting metropolitan ministries and area kids preparing for the new school year. And there's so many staff help with these events, but I just have to give a shout out to Dave Carland. He leads and helps with so many of these events, and that one with the school backpacks was one of his favorite events, so thank you, Dave. Next slide, please. Commissioners, we held our strategic planning on June 25th. We do this twice a year. As always, we welcome your input on our strategic planning process and appreciate your continued support. Next slide. And with that, Commissioners, our next meeting is October 16th. And if there's nothing more to come forward, I don't know if there's anything on the agenda like future items, but Commissioner, I turn it over to you.
Okay, Commissioner, what's the future items?
I just wanted to comment on what you had just pointed out. To my understanding, we also have twice as much conserved land than any other of the second place county in the entire state of Florida. We have twice as much as the second place, much less any other county. So thank you very much.
I did not know that. Thank you for that, Commissioner.
Do we have any future items? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.